To our channel, my dear family and friends. We're very privileged to have Daniella and Norm here to talk about health issues and the latest discoveries. We've been talking about Immunotech, a product that Norm is very interested in, and we've been taking, and we've had really nice results with it. So we want to share that. We want to give you the ability to, if you want to discover, if you want to try this incredible product, you could sign up. Let me see if I can get this to slow down. Speed, yeah.
You can't
There
go
we go.
zero.
You could call or email Norman, and he'll set you up with Immunotech. That's helpful to Danielle and I. He'll sign you up under us. So if you're interested, Norm, you want to talk a bit about the Immunotech?
Yeah, we've been sort of easing into it, leaning into talking about it for the last couple of weeks, which comes on sort of the heels of emphasizing, generally LifeWave patching, but also specifically the glutathione patch. And so one of the things that I do in promoting Immunical, which is the Immunotech product, is just to try to keep busy or keep updated on the science. And I don't know if we could devote a whole show to this, but I wanted to share something that I learned this past week. So I have to begin with a question for you guys, but also for the audience. I don't know do you know how many people are listening?
We have one person right now, but that'll probably go up in the next couple of minutes.
Yeah,
Right.
takes
The power of one, right? So, there's a little known fact that in America, there's a disease that is the single most common illness. The single most common illness in America is
it heart disease?
What would you say, Daniella?
Obesity.
So I'm going to give you a hint. So both of those are wrong, but you want to know what Ellie's father would know. What Father Avishol would know what this is.
It's dental, something with dental.
It's gum, and it's periodontal and tooth dental diseases. Any disease related to the mouth. That's the most common. And you want to know something? I lived in Las Vegas. I moved here in 2019, and I have never seen so many dentists. It's like there's a dentist on every street corner in Las Vegas. Now, and I'm not exaggerating. Starbucks, dentist. CVS, Walgreens. Starbucks, dentist. CVS, Walgreens. It's crazy. So the thing that I learned, and the thing that I wanted to share with everybody, is that the saliva is a place where glutathione is hopefully and potentially very plentiful. But when saliva as another system, another part of our systems, our body, is low in glutathione, then that saliva doesn't do the job that it's supposed to do, which is to protect the teeth from decaying, protect the gums from receding, protect from bacteria developing, and so on and so forth. What's also interesting is saliva testing is a way that we test a lot of biomarkers, not just glutathione, but you could get your glutathione tested by providing saliva. So the question is what is glutathione doing in the saliva? And the answer is it's destroying free radicals. It's reducing or eliminating oxidative stress. And I think that it's just such an interesting subject and an interesting thing to share because, well, besides the fact that your dad was a dentist, is because I think most people don't know this. number one, most people don't know that this is so prevalent, and number two, most people don't know that if you take a glutathione patch or you take a body shot every morning of glutathione precursors, which is what Immunotech is, you're increasing the glutathione in your saliva and, of course, the rest of your body as well. So, so the correlation between, glutathione and saliva and dental disease is well documented. There's tons and tons and tons of studies. Also, what happens to smokers and how smokers who are tested smokers that have developed problems from, like what I'm talking about, to something as severe as cancer, lung cancer, have very low levels of glutathione. So, so I just thought that was super interesting. And for me personally, I have a dental hygienist who's a LifeWave rep. And coming up on April 1st, I have a cleaning. That's pretty much all I do is go for cleanings. I try to stay away from the dentist otherwise. But she'll be able to say to me, she'll be able to compare the two cleanings, the one that took place several months ago and the one that's going to take place on April 1st, in light of the fact that I've been on glutathione Immunotech for every day since then. So without taking a saliva test, but with having somebody that's really skilled and also into alternative treatments, it'll be very interesting to see what she says. The other thing related to this is dental toxicology. Unfortunately, some of us have mercury in our mouth. The resins that they use to fill teeth and other materials that are commonly used in dental practices. And I'm not sure if it's not just like, it could also be the non-traditional, the holistic dental practices or the biologic dental practices. They may use some of those things too, because maybe those are the only things they can use. But there's toxic damage from those things. And once again, what is the combat for that? And that's glutathione. It's just, I can't emphasize enough how important it is in all these systems, and specifically what I brought up here, which is the problems with the teeth and the mouth. NAC, we know that Immunotech has a patented and extremely well tested form of cysteine. But even NAC, which is N-acetylcysteine, has also been used in a lot of different situations, combating some of the things that we're talking about in the mouth. So, so the idea that Immunotech 25 years ago discovered bonded cysteine and was able to, bring this whey protein isolate to market is pretty amazing when you think about the fact that we already have experience with NAC, and we already have experience with glycine, and we already have experience with glutamic acid, but we don't have an experience with, or we hadn't had an experience with, pulling it all together. So when we're taking a body shot of Immunotech, whether it's the Platinum or the Sport or the OG, the original one, we're taking a precursor that helps the body rebuild and build glutathione. And I think we've already established that when we take that and we're patching with X39 or a combination of 39 and glutathione and eon and whatever, it's a really potent combination to deal with systemic diseases. And I'll conclude talking about the teeth by saying this, is that periodontal disease, it's interesting that you said heart disease and you said obesity, because they begin in the mouth. They begin in the mouth more than one way. They begin in the mouth in terms of all the shit that we eat. They begin in the mouth because of the stuff they're trying to poison us with. They begin in the mouth, but they also begin in the mouth in the sense of it. If what's going on in your mouth affects your heart, it affects your lungs, it affects your brain. You know, I know Grant's not on here yet. And maybe we wouldn't want to ask him this live, but being the fact that he had a stroke, it'd be interesting to sort of consider what is his, how's he approached his dental history. So I don't know. Let me stop there and just say that what we're talking about is, periodontology and dentistry and glutathione.
Yeah, it's weird. I was just
Hey, Ellie, how's that for a subject?
I think it's terrific because really the mouth is it's the portal. It's really like a portal into from the outside to the inside. I mean, there's really, I guess your lungs are similar, but in terms of, I mean, the lungs is just a given. You can't really control what goes into your lungs. I mean, if you're not a smoker and that sort of thing, but yes, so much of your health, it really revolves around the mouth. Now, my father was very anti-fluoride, and I was, I was.
hand brushing's not
Yeah,
the important
and he
thing.
wasn't really into. He was very into like toothpicks and
Flossing.
dental floss and this kind of thing. But he had sort of a holistic thing, very against fluoride. He said it was a total hoax. And this is back in the day. We're talking about the 60s and 70s. But yeah, it's I don't think people, and I think the perhaps the mouth is, and the sensory stimulation that revolves around it is probably relatively unexplored. We really don't.
And your wisdom teeth too.
Yeah, and the wisdom teeth, we really
Yeah.
don't. I don't think we really have a handle. I mean,
Mhm.
I'm somewhat conscious of the like the pleasure factor. Like I notice that when I eat potato chips, for example, they're crunchy, and there's something about the scent. We talk about the nutritional value of the food, but there's also sensory importance. The stimulation that certain kinds of food
Yeah,
have.
like ice, because I've heard if you crave chewing ice, that means you're low in iron.
Interesting.
Well, yeah. So no, I hear you. And in addition to sensory, and in addition to like, there are all of these nerves here that are part of. I mean, they're nerves, but they're also, you have lymphatic system here, and if there's no proper drainage, you may feel it in your teeth, but you may actually not have a toothache. Meaning, like, you may not have decay in your teeth, but you may have something kind of hung up in in your mouth. I mean, in your neck, or in the areas in your sinuses, or in the areas where your teeth connect. You mentioned wisdom teeth. I had an interesting experience when I was a kid. I tell this story because to me it's mind-boggling, but I feel like some of it's been validated. Okay, so I go to the dentist, and he says to me, I'm like a teenager, and he says to me, we need to pull your wisdom teeth. And I said, oh, why is that? And he said, well, because they're growing in sideways, and if you don't get them pulled out, this was like, say, maybe April and May, by the time you get into the fall, they're going to be in your jaw. They're going to be growing into your jaw. And he has like a white screen, and he puts the X-rays up there, and they certainly look like they were grown in sideways. So here we are, I don't know, 50 years later. I have all 4 wisdom teeth. They didn't grow in sideways, and
Wow.
to this day, I question whether he was a crook, which is a possibility, or they turned, which is, I guess, another possibility. But I'm thankful that I didn't get them pulled out, because I don't think we should pull them out if we don't have to.
Yeah, because the dentists make money off of the wisdom teeth too, because I guess they have like some special connection or powers or whatever. Because I got my wisdom teeth unfortunately taken out, so that then I had a lot of toothaches ever since.
Well, we may not know this yet, but maybe it's possible to grow them back.
Mm,
I don't know. Certainly a
right.
possibility. I've heard of people growing teeth back that
Oh
they,
yeah.
I'm not talking about kids, like little kids who have, what do they call them, baby teeth? But
Yeah.
no. So I think you were talking about the other functions of the mouth. When you think about it, when you go to sleep at night, are you breathing through your mouth? You're breathing through your nose. Well, one of the things about breathing through your nose, which I think is preferable, would once again have to do with antioxidants. I mean, there might be other things, other reasons that you wouldn't, or you wake up in the morning and all of a sudden you realize your mouth is dry or whatever. But clearly, antioxidants play a big role in our breathing, and breathing plays a big role in our oral health.
So you're saying the glutathione has an effect on your respiratory system, and
Oh, for sure. During COVID, the functional medicine doctors and the anti-vaccine doctors were prescribing NAC. That was huge. People were taking NAC 3-4 times a day because of its benefit to the respiratory system. So, once again, I mean, I think I made this point early on in our series, was that NAC's good, but it's not as effective as bonded cysteine and whey protein isolate, because only and one of our guests last week, I think her name was Nicole. She acknowledged that, because I think she said, I take NAC, but I said, only maybe a small percentage of it's getting through the gut. But with something like COVID, or something like somebody that's got COPD or some other kind of bad respiratory issue, that's not to say NAC wasn't helping them, because it clearly was, but they had to take a lot of it.
so we have Nicole back. Nicole just appeared, and also hello from Cleveland.
Hello.
We wanted to say hello to you, and wow, yeah. So yeah, so it is important. I mean, we are interested in the feedback, and this is kind of, I wanted to do this channel because, first of all, we love hearing Norm talk about health
Right.
things, and Danielle
Yeah, me
is
too.
like one of his devotees. He's like her guru when it comes to health issues, because there's nothing out there. The doctors are. He mentioned my name as I was typing. Interesting. There's nothing out there. There's no dock to tie your boat to, in terms of, in the old days we had the sense that, well, the doctors will know what to do about it, but that's been completely shattered. And it's an open story now. The whole medical model it's basically they surrendered to the big pharma, and they became drug pushers, and they know very little about nutrition and medicine. So we're open territory, and that's why I felt this channel was important, to have a channel just focusing on medical and nutritional and health issues in general that were outside of big pharma. But yeah, so we feel that, our health has really taken a turn in the positive direction with the LifeWave patches. I mean, the patches just seem to do something perhaps to our light body. But Daniella was open to Norman's suggestion that we try the Immunotech product, which basically, increases your glutathione production.
I'm not sure how to chat back. So Nicole says, glad to see you. And I waved my hand so she knows I saw it, but I don't know how to type anything.
So we're kind of open. And I know in the beginning of this series, we talked a lot about certain, fruits and this and that, but right now we seem to be focused on, I think dental health is such an appropriate place to focus, because it's really an open portal to your body. There's no other, entrance to your body that's quite as, that's used in that way, where you're putting all kinds of things into it. Be they,
when I'll go on April 1st to the dentist, and it's a cleaning, the only thing she's going to do is she's going to use ozonated water, and it's going to be like high pressure. She's not going to do any big time scaling. She's not going to you know what I mean? She's not going to, huh?
Not use toothpaste or anything like the other dentists.
No, she's not a big believer in this vigorous scrubbing of your. It's just not necessary. But one thing that I forgot to mention, one of the things that happens elsewhere too, is there's something called biofilm, which is an interesting phenomenon, because different toxins and bacteria will protect themselves from that which we're going to try to do to get rid of them. So they kind of collect, and they collect in vulnerable places. For example, if you've ever had a root canal, unfortunately, then so once again, long-term use of glutathione precursors, has been shown to also destroy biofilm. And, a lot of times we don't really realize that, we think it's just another modality, another strategy, I guess is what I'm saying.
So the biofilm, I'm just
snoring. What is snoring?
Snoring, but I'm just curious. What do you mean? Can you define more of this?
Biofilm forms in our body, not just our mouth, but other places in our gut and different places where it takes a special approach or a special strategy to break through the biofilm. When the biofilm is broken through, the whatever toxins are in there, stuff we breathe, stuff that we drink, stuff that we eat, whatever has been ingested and then what's the word I'm looking for? Coagulated, now can be released, which is one of the reasons why we talked about this before too. One of the reasons why I try to, and I think other people do the same thing. I take the Immunical and then go into the sauna. I don't do it every day, maybe once or twice a week. You probably don't need to do that because you're so active and you're outside, and pretty soon you're going to be sweating in the Arizona heat.
Absolutely.
But what I'm saying is the combination of sweat, heat, sweat, and glutathione precursors, that's a strategy to eliminate those toxins from the body, including break up the biofilms. So, I just thought it was an interesting subject,
So Norman, how you were talking about sleeping with your mouth closed or open, does that what causes snoring, or if that has to do with because Ellie snores too when he sleeps on his back, so I don't know if that has to do with anything that he's doing.
Well, there's no question that sleeping on your back versus your right side versus your left side has an effect on snoring. There's no question about it, because one, the lungs are a little bit more compressed. One, you know what I mean? There's no question. But it could be that it doesn't matter which way you sleep, you still snore. So, the newest thing in dentistry, I talk like I'm a dentist, but I'm not. The newest thing in dentistry is airway therapies. So and I have to say, I think it's a bit of a money grab, but hopefully my dentist is not listening. The basis for it is that our mouth our mouth is not big enough for our tongue and our teeth. Like, God didn't make our mouth big enough for our tongue and our teeth. Okay, whatever, and so you've got to have devices which are like thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
You have to have devices that you sleep with. And so I get, again, I'm just not, for me, it's like the dentist who said, you got to get your wisdom teeth pulled out. I think that if you're working on the other systems that are in play while you're sleeping, then you'll probably snore less and breathe better. But how do you know that that's happening? So obviously, Daniella, you can tell Ellie if it's happening.
Yeah, I do.
She kicks me usually. I'm like, what happened?
Let me tell you something. If my wife goes to sleep first, and then I try to go to sleep, and she starts snoring, I'll be up the whole night.
Yeah, that's how I will be too.
I'll be up the whole night. So, but there's probably a bunch of other things to do. It's very dry where you are, right? Not now, but in Arizona.
Yeah. It's dry. It's definitely dry.
Definitely dry.
So, if you can make some humidity, I think it's probably a good idea.
Well, now that we have a well, so we at least have the potential. We have some water, but I think,
and we can buy the pressure.
Right, but I think we're doing a lot,
so.
or planning to do a lot with fruit trees, both inside and outside the house. So I think that will give us a little bit of humidity inside the house as well.
Should, yeah.
I mean, I think the other thing about sleep and its effect on the mouth is when you started to eat and when you stopped to eat. I mean, clearly you need at least 4 hours before you.
Yeah, Ellie eats right before we go to bed.
I think that works for me. I can't go to sleep if I just ate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm the same way, even with spicy food.
Mm-hmm. I like to have a little dairy before I go to sleep. It gets me through
like
the
yogurt,
night. Yeah, a little spoonful or two of yogurt.
Well, there's also something to be said about blood sugar. You don't want your blood sugar to fluctuate so much that then it has an adverse effect on sleeping. But so it's sort of like, it's like, okay, so how's the last meal? Like, when is the last meal? What is in the last meal? And if you're going to eat anything else like you do, what's the thing that's most easily digested, but also helps? And, protein would be an example of that, which is, yogurts. What is yogurt? I mean, it's largely, protein, fat.
Eating at 8 o'clock.
Yeah, we stop eating at 8 o'clock, but we don't usually. I mean, the other part is that we don't usually eat until about noon. So, it's. I'm just, I have a high metabolism, so I need a lot of protein to keep going. So but yeah, all these things are pretty interesting. I think we'll just. I mean, do you want to summarize? I just want everyone to know that if you're interested in this Immunotech product, we find it a very tremendously, it's a nice addition to the to the patches, to the LifeWave patches, and it gives us a feeling, since we don't officially eat until afternoon. We have this whey protein and these precursors that build glutathione that we take as soon as we get up. So this is really the first thing that we do is ingest these precursors to glutathione.
And I wanted to say that I think it's helpful to take the platinum to for when you're traveling, because when you're on sitting on the airplane and stuff, it's hard on your body. So that's what we took with us, was just the platinum and the boosters, and I think that's very helpful.
Right. There are different levels of,
Yeah.
there are different packages that you can take. So we were taking the platinum, I guess, for
That
traveling.
has
but
a magnesium
at,
though.
at home, you like the regular, right?
Yeah.
But anyway,
Yeah, platinum is we would call that an advanced formula. It has two unique components beyond the original Immunical. It's got a cytokine peptide, CMP, cytokine modulating peptide, and I mean, these are like obviously fancy terms. I'm not sure I understand it. Redox modulating formula, RMF. The thing is that if you log on to Immunitech and you go to Immunical Platinum, for example, not only can you find the supplement facts, like what's in it, but you can then click on studies and standards. It's like the website's amazing because it answers your questions all in one place. Same thing with the science. There's a 127 page, I think it's 127 page. What do you call it? Wait a minute, I lost you guys. Where are you? Mm-hmm. Do you still see me? No. Shit. You still there?
Are we back on?
Ours
I
normally
think so.
Text Norman, we're back on.
Well, anyway, we're just going to we'll resume next week, and everybody should have a great night. We'll be live in a little while on our regular channel, on our regular show tonight. So have a great night, and